Today we're talking about the patch notes for patch 5.21, Celestial Domination, the return patch of Domination as an adventure. We're going to start with the skins and then go through the new adventure, I think, as well as the balance changes. So first of all, we have a skin for Pelé. Darkblade Pelé, more of a futuristic skin, but at the same time a electric style skin. So a little bit different from the other futuristic skin that she has, and a little more dark with the hood on and everything. I think it looks pretty cool, though I'm missing a little bit of the normal Pelé vibe with the skin, but I think it's still a very good skin. The next one is the Warlord skin for Chark. This is a blessed, holy style skin, basically. Paladin kind of skin. I think the skin is very cool because he uses the hammer, and the skin itself looks awesome. It has this really nice effects. You can see these glowing shoulder stars here. Those are actually in game as well, so that's really cool. On the other hand, the effects are a bit lackluster in my opinion. It's mostly just normal effects in a golden style, essentially. And I was hoping he would have some divine light in his 3 or something like that. But still a very good skin outside of the effects. The next one is the Mystic Archer Artemis skin. Well, that's the thing. I am personally not the biggest fan of this one. Her face kind of looks very plasticky in game, but at the same time, I know there's definitely a demographic for that skin. It's just not me. I'm just not the target audience for this one. What I will say is that the effects of this skin are really, really cool, but it seems like the trap is very visible. I'm not sure how visible it will be to enemies, but it's a very obvious trap, at least for yourself. So that can be a downside when playing the skin, but the animations are really cool. And she can float as well with her special emotes. That's cool. Then we have the Red Tusker skin. That is kind of like in the same theme as the Geek Big Thor skin. This one, I think, is just trying to be a little bit too much in terms of its style. It's somehow urban style skin with like tiles underneath when he walks around and stuff. But at the same time, he's a nature lover, so he's got these grass effects as well. And yeah, it's just, in my opinion, it doesn't mix that well, but I'm sure some people like it. Plus, obviously, he's got a lot of like anime cutesy style skins already. He's got 4 of them right now, and I would like to see some more variation in other directions. But yeah, just not for me. Then we have a Capri plushie skin. This one is awesome, and that's all I have to say. You can imagine the effects and everything, typical plushie style, what we already seen from Ganesh, basically repeated here, and it's very cool. Then we have Ice Queen Aphrodite. This was one of the 2 community skins. This one, a lot of ice crystal shard effects, which I think look pretty cool. Actually looks quite a bit different in game from this art, I think, but not necessarily bad either. So I think it's a good skin. And then we have Kukulkan Winter Curse skin, also a community skin. And this one I think is really, really cool. The effects on this one are so nice with like different sound effects and everything as well. Just all around great skin in my opinion, and probably I would say my favorite of this patch. We can also quickly go through the sound files here, through the voice lines. So if you're on your headphones, make sure to turn them down. This might be loud.
Don't sweat it. These guys look like a bunch of amateurs. Nothing we can't handle.
This land is overrun with filth. I bring the light that will cleanse the unholy.
The bad guys never learn. They try to take over the world, and we stop them. Every single time. Give up already!
That was a long voice line.
Just put one foot in front of the other, and we'll get somewhere.
I'm soft and cuddly. Feel free to hug me anytime, especially if you're having a bad day.
We will take these lands once again. From the coldness of my heart, I can promise you that.
I can't help being a danger to my friends, but I'll absolutely be a greater danger to my enemies.
All right. Those are the voice lines, and that brings us to Celestial Domination. I'm not quite sure where they really went with this celestial theme here, but I'm going to read the description quickly for those of you who are not familiar with Domination. The desert battleground of Celestial Domination awaits. 2 teams of 5 players face off against each other across 3 lanes in this glimpse into Smite's past. Confront the wrath of the desert as you face the Sand Guardians in the shadow of a looming pyramid. Battle for supremacy beneath the heavens themselves. Develop your strategy and use it to dominate your enemies. Kill, capture, and defend. Defeat the Sand Guardians to gain control of their capture points. Hold and defend the capture points against the enemies to reduce their tickets. Embark on a celestial adventure. Vie for power against the backdrop of a mystical desert oasis. Battle for dominance at the foot of the time-worn edifice of a great pyramid, a monumental creation which dwarfed only by the celestial bodies which hang over the battlefield. And from this you can already hear it's going to be more of a night-themed domination, which I think is very unfortunate. I really love the burning sun kind of theme it had before. Still Egyptian themed, but yeah, you can see it kind of here in the background. It's very, very darkish blue tones instead of the usual yellow-orange tones. And you will see a lot going on in the sky. And you can somehow change something in the sky as well, but I don't know exactly how that will work. Collect Mystic Jewels, unlock unique items. Earn Mystic Jewels from every game of Celestial Domination that you play. Spend Mystic Jewels to roll Mystic Jewel chests. Some chests contain unique items exclusive to the Celestial Domination adventure. And there's a bundle with that, which includes the Mystic Archer Artemis, Mystic Archer Music Theme, Mystic Archer Ward Skin, 5 Odyssey points, why 5? Well, 250 Mystic Jewels, and 1 Gold Key. It doesn't tell us exactly what we get out of the other chests, but we'll find out. I'm probably going to play this a fair bit anyways. It doesn't seem like the bundle comes with a multiplier for the points here from what I can read here, which is interesting, but I imagine that might just be left out in the patch notes and be added later. And then we also have some additional things here regarding what can be bought where. So the things that are in Hera's Odyssey are Darkblade Pillet, Righteous Hammer Chark, and Hera's Peacock Fountain Skin. Ostrich, sorry. And the bonus item is Hera's Odyssey Pedestal. So that means that the community skins will probably be in a chest, I would think, in a winter chest, and the other ones are purchasable directly. Then we have some things in Project Olympus that I actually think are very cool. And that is that the Learn tab has been updated with a VGS guide. And this VGS guide can be used at any point. So you can use that in queue to practice your VGS while you're waiting for the game to start. And people have been asking for mini games in Smite for a long time, and this is a very simple one to put in, I think. So I think that's very, very cool. Now, what I'm hoping for to be the case is that if your default key for the V in VGS is not the V, that you could still use this not like with your normal key and not with a V. I hope that's factored in. I'm afraid it might not be, but we'll find out about that, because otherwise it's not going to help me all too much. But I like this way of, practicing VGS, learning something useful for the game basically while waiting in queue. Then we have Artemis ability icons have been updated. Oh, and I hope this one has a leaderboard. That would be fun. See how quickly some people can do it. And then we have some additions to various chests. Awesome Chest now has Hellscape, Kronos, Nightbane, Jingwei, and Half-Life Baron Samdi. The Fantasy Point store now has Eldritrar, Harajuku Neath, and Stargazer Anubis. And the Godlike Chest has Super Chill Bacchus, Crystal Gaze Medusa, and Sun Protection Factor 666, the Morrigan. You have some bug fixes for players not being on the scoreboard, something for the death animation of Moonlit Scout Neath, then an issue with the login screen not being translated, an issue where banned or suspended players could not see the duration of their bans or suspensions, and where the quest menu could go off screen in certain modes. And then there was a controller disconnection issue on the console, which is also fixed. What doesn't seem to be fixed is the whole lobby chat issue with calling roles on PC, which has been there for a lot of patches now, and I really hope it's going to be fixed soon. I'm kind of under the impression they're holding that off because we're going to get the new roll call system if there's crossplay anyways, but I really hope it gets fixed before. Then there was a fix for Artemis, where people could be placed in an unattended location after being grabbed or pulled when being hit by an Artemis trap. And Hera got a fix, which a lot of people are asking for. When she hits someone with a 2 with a polymorph and they're slow immune, then the polymorph would not actually go off, and that will now work again. So they will be polymorph but not slowed. And then we have a little bit of adjustment to items in Assault specifically, because some people on Reddit were asking about this, why it's not possible basically. Certain items couldn't be bought there because they're stacking items, but Soul Eater, Bound Gauntlet, and Gauntlet of Thebes can now be bought, because the outcome here for the 2 stacking items basically is not that drastic in terms of you're not trying to get stacks from others. That was the big issue with stacking items, that you have 5 people competing over stacks otherwise and annoying each other, whereas with Soul Eater and Gauntlet of Thebes, they basically stack automatically, but very quickly, so they should be very good items in Assault now, on the other hand. And when it comes to guard balance, we have first of all buffs to Kronos, who's just not been doing that well, and somewhere somebody pointed out that an issue for Kronos is that he doesn't really have the same stats as other ADC mages, and others typically have more HP, so his HP have now been adjusted to kind of fit in more with the other guards of that role like Saul. So he gets increased base health from 370 to 400, and increased health per level from 70 to 75, which at level 20 should be a total of 130 extra HP if I calculate that wrong from the top of my head, right from the top of my head. So a little bit here, a little bit there, and especially early game, this will make quite an impact. He's just not quite as squishy, and he can always rewind. I felt like his lower health pool most maybe because of his ultimate, because of his rewind, but either way, he's got more now. Carnunos actually gets a very interesting buff. So basically, because Hera got an effect on her polymorph that slows enemies, Carnunos now gets the same to make it a bit more consistent, to make the experience with polymorph a bit more consistent, and because at the same time Carnunos needed a buff anyways. So Wild Hunt will now slow targets for 20%. By 20%, as long as they're polymorphed. I think this is a very interesting change, because Carnunos has been like bottom tier in the meta for so long, and he didn't really have much. And I don't know how much this will do, because this buff is very, very drastic. 20% slow on an ability that doesn't have that form of CC beforehand sets up a lot. Carnunos didn't have that much of an issue following enemies anyways, but now it's going to be even easier for him, and his team fight impact just drastically increases. At the same time, he's still not the type of hunter that you typically see dominant in the meta right now. He doesn't really have the same fit as many others. So I'm curious how much this will do, but I do think that it will have an impact. Different from the last buff that was just basically nothing. And that brings us to a nerf. Erlang Shen. Howling Celestial Dog decreased max health damage max health percent damage from 2% to 1% per hit. Erlang Shen has been very, very strong, especially as a jungler, and he took off a lot of health very quickly, especially with a little bit more aggressive builds, and this is absolutely fair. Like, 2% was crazy. Not much more to say. Good nerf, will tune Erlang down a bit and will not break him at the same time, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, I think that's very fair. Fenrir gets numerous buffs that don't really buff much, because it's all just mana cost decreases. Now, don't get me wrong, Fenrir's mana cost is incredibly high, but the problem is that Fenrir doesn't have anything outside of this for this meta. He doesn't have anything to compete with the level 1 high clear junglers, because the only time he really has high jungle clear is when his Brutalize is fully stacked, which doesn't happen on level 1 unless you want to spam basics before you even use it, and then you can't use it in the first camp, and you get the idea. It doesn't really work out. So Fenrir, also outside of that, is just very countered by many guards, with more cripples being around and all that kind of stuff. I just don't see room for him in his current state, so I don't think these mana changes will drastically bring him up outside of a few niche picks for players that are very, very well versed with Fenrir. And then we have Freya. Freya gets a nerf to Northern Lights. 10 damage. 10 base damage. I don't know. I think she needs more than that if she was to be brought back in line. And yeah, I don't see 10 base damage having very much of an impact here, because she's still gonna have immense pressure. She's gonna have a very strong late game. This is this general tendency of many gods that are more late game oriented also doing pretty decently in mid and early game. And Freya is one of them, and I don't think 10 damage really changes this, even though it nerfs her clear. And then, speaking of gods that get like the weirdest nerfs, Mercury. I'm gonna read this one out, just the reasoning here as well. Since the return of Golden Blade, Golden Bow, Mercury has been quickly rising to the top of the meta. Mercury's ability to move and clear quickly feel core to his themes. Do they now? But his one-shot damage can be frustratingly high. We are decreasing the power boost he can gain from his passive ability for now. We'll surely be keeping a close eye on this god going forward, and there will likely be more adjustments in future patches. That is basically the same words they used in the last patch when they increased the cooldown of his 1 by 2 seconds. Fastest god alive. Reduced power charged per passive stack from 0.1 to 0.08. 50% physical power increase down to 40% physical power increase. What does this effectively mean? This primarily means that Mercury meme builds where you try to make the highest crit possible will deal a little bit less damage. That's what it means. It's just not the issue. It's just not, like, first of all, since when is being able to clear quickly one of Mercury's core themes? His 1 is a quick clear, yes, but his 2 has never been a quick clear, and his 3 has never been the quickest of clears. There are other gods that have themes of clearing a lot quicker. So Cat has a theme of quickly clearing. Raven has a theme of quickly clearing. Mercury, no, he's got a theme of having safe clear and helping with lane clear in a safe way, while also being able to make a pick at the same time. But his theme is not quick clear with Golden Blade. I don't know where it's coming from. The issue that Hi-Rez has, and what they said they have, is that they don't want to nerf Golden Blade because other junglers benefit very much from Golden Blade. And we have seen 2 adjustments now that will literally do nothing in that regard. Come on, 10% on the max scaling that half the time you don't even reach. With Mercury, the benefit that he has over other junglers when it comes to clearing is not in the fact that he clears quickly with Golden Blade. Sure, he does. He can use his 2 and clear with that. But the big benefit is in the fact that his 1 procs Golden Blade. And his 1 is an AoE ability. So technically, it's a cleaving basic attack. Which junglers do not have an issue with clearing in general? Junglers with cleaving basic attacks. You've never heard Najah complaining about bad clear. That's just not part of what that makes the character. He's got a cleave and he's got some other abilities that help him clear, and he's good. You know, Thanatos even. And the gods that build Golden Blade for benefits are not the ones that have cleaves. The gods that build Golden Blade are gods like Arachne, like Bakasura, single target gods that struggle with clearing. Kali maybe. And those gods don't have a cleave in their kit. So it's literally as simple as removing the cleave interaction from Golden Blade when your basic attack or ability basic attack has a cleave. When you're Osiris and you cleave, don't get a Golden Blade proc, because it's not even many people playing Osiris in the first place. When you're, I don't know, there's not even that many gods that I could name that make much benefit of this. Erlang Shen maybe. And you cleave. You don't need a Golden Blade proc on that one basic attack. You will still have a proc on your normal basic attacks outside of that. Just that one cleave one, because it's going to do more damage to other targets already anyways. It doesn't have to have this weird bouncing proc. Just check, if cleave, then no Golden Blade proc. It's probably not that simple to code, but you get the idea. I don't know why that's not the option that's been taken in consideration first. And with that rant over, but it would really solve the majority of these problems. Mercury would still be strong in the meta, he would still have strong clear, but it wouldn't be out of this world running to a camp, clearing it from the max aggro range with a single 1 levels of clear. And that's all I want. All right, that's it. To get this off my chest. And with that, thank you guys very much for watching. That's it for these patch notes. I haven't mentioned it often enough, I guess. I'll mention it here again as well. I will be at HRX. I will be participating in a panel. I will be having a meet and greet with some other content creators as well. You can check that out on the HRX website. And, if you see me there, say hi. Make sure to say hi. I don't know that you know me, so you know that you know me. So I'm not going to walk up to people and say hi to everyone. Say hi. Outside of that, some other notes that I just briefly want to say because we're already on this right now. On one hand, Warcraft 3 is getting a remaster next year, and World of Warcraft Classic is coming out, and I'm super excited. And I also have some pretty cool Fallout news that I might release later or tomorrow. We'll see about that. And that's it for today. And with that, thank you guys very much for watching again. If you're new to the channel, feel free to click the sub button with the bell. It really helps me out. And see you for the next one later or tomorrow. DukeSloth out.